Tell us a little bit about your story and how you got here. You're living on a tent here on the corner, and kind of what brought you to where you are right now, and what's your story?
Actually, about 5 or 6 years ago, I was fresh out of prison. Went to prison young.
What worries you most?
What worries me most is that I'm not going to live up to the potential that I have as a human being.
Hi, my name is Manny Cutiel, and I am here on the lavender couch in front of the mission itself of the Mission District. And today we're having a conversation about the tent encampments in San Francisco. The team and I thought we've been hearing a lot of people talk about tents, about clearing the tents, moving the tents, dealing with the tents. And I just felt like it was time to actually talk to some of the people who are living in the tents. So today we came out to a few blocks from Manny's, and we're talking to some of the people in this community who are living in tents to hear their stories, what they think should be done about tents on the streets, and also their perspective on what's going on in our city with the pandemic and everything. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the conversation. Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
I feel like I just met you like not that long ago, but I feel like we've already shared so much with each other, and I do think it just shows how much of an open heart you have. So
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. How are you doing right now?
Okay. It's actually surprisingly not as cold as I thought it was going to be outside.
Yeah, I had to put my sweater on. We were just talking about suffering and how some people have certain ways of dealing with their suffering and their pain. And you mentioned that you live on the street and people express their suffering to you all the time. Tell me about that. What's that like, and what does that mean to you?
Well, obviously it hurts my feelings, because honestly, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm born and raised in Pennsylvania. I've gone to the complete other side of the country, and I don't know. I'm 25, and I think that's pretty fucking amazing. And I've never really had to have too much in my wallet, or I've never had to have a really dangerous situation happen through my travels, especially being a small female. It's more when somebody has a comment of oh, I feel bad for the dog. That's where I have never had a doctor tell me, but my body and my mind's telling me I probably can't have my own kids. So, my dog is my baby, dude. I love my dog, and she's so awesome. And it hurts. My girlfriend has to remind me that all dogs want really is to be around us all the time and go outside every day.
Yeah. So tell me about your journey to San Francisco, Tyler. You and I talked about meeting your girlfriend in Medford.
Yeah.
And when did you come to San Francisco? How long have you been here, and what was your journey to San Francisco?
Well, we were in Medford, and we were gonna hitchhike south. And honestly, we got.
And Medford's in which state? I thought
Oregon.
It was in Massachusetts, but it's not. Okay, it's in Oregon.
And we met in Medford, and we hitchhiked. And honestly, we got lucky. Our first time, this really nice girl picked us up, and she gave us a ride pretty much all the way from Medford, Oregon, all the way down to Berkeley. And we were in Berkeley for a little bit.
Okay.
And we've been all over the Bay Area now, but we've probably been in San Francisco and the Bay Area probably now almost 2 years, because we've been together almost 2 years. So.
And can I ask, when you came to Berkeley in the Bay Area, did you have a place to stay? Did you have lodgings or housing or whatsoever, or what was the plan when you came here?
I don't really remember. It was so sporadic. We slept at People's Park under a blanket, under a tree. We've had tents, a few different tents, and sometimes my girlfriend was really good at making tarp tents. And all she needs is a tarp, and she can make us a nice little spot that is, comfortable and where nobody can really see us. And that's what. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say a lot of my anxiety, when a tarp outside my tent makes a lot of noise, I have really bad PTSD, and it kind of makes me freak out. And she's really good at making sure that my PTSD is not fucked with at all.
So you live in a tent right just behind us. You can't see it, for it's around the block. It's right in front of, Shar Zahav, which is a temple that I've actually gone to before. And I guess my first question to you is like, how did you arrive at this tent on this corner? Like, what brought you to the tent and to this corner?
Honestly, it's usually DPW or the police will tell us that the spot that we were at before that, it's like a game of like, well, can I go here now? Can I go here now? Can I go here now? And a lot of the time it's, my girlfriend and I usually try to camp by ourselves.
Yeah.
But sometimes when the group slowly gets bigger and bigger, that's when we get more noticed. And we had to move down to the spot. I personally like the spot, and I try to be as clean and respectful as possible. And I'll be at this spot hopefully until either I get housing or I get somebody to tell the cops that we need to move to a different spot.
I'm in the TL right now at the corner of Jones and I don't know what's this corner? Ellis, Jones and Ellis, and I'm with my new friend Lamont. Lamont is thankfully is offering to speak with me about his story and who he is and what he's all about and how he got here, and I'm really thankful. So Lamont, thank you so much. My first question is, like your story and how you got here. You're living on a tent here on the corner, and kind of what brought you to where you are right now, and what's your story?
Okay, well, how I got here is my mother and father, sister passed away, and they put me in a damper, and left me like down and out. So now I stay with my other sister, Trina, and so I get to Jones Street.
Wait 1 second, Lamont, do you mind pulling your mask up so we can be safe and all that? So wait, your parents died. I'm sorry to hear that. How old were you when they died?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
It's just 2 years ago, and they both died. My sister passed away, and it's like three of my family members passed away, and so.
Were you living in a hotel or in an apartment before that?
Apartment.
Where was the apartment?
Fillmore.
Fillmore? Fillmore and what?
In Webster.
So you were living in an apartment on Fillmore and Webster a couple years ago. Your parents died, kind of left you in a tough situation, and so then what happened?
So money situation got scarce, and I had to quit my job.
Do you mind if I ask what you were doing, what your job was at the time, Lamont?
Construction worker.
What was it?
Construction worker.
Construction worker. Oh my God, amazing. What kind of stuff were you building? Were you building in the city specifically?
No, I was just doing in-house, like little work here and there, odd jobs.
Odd jobs, construction, okay. Gotta lift your mask up a little bit. Okay, so you were working for construction, but so you lost your job. And what was the situation with the apartment? How did you lose the apartment, if you don't mind my asking?
Money situation.
Yeah.
That's how money got bad.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It got bad like that. And so after a couple of months, halfway a year, it was like, you gotta pay your rent.
So was there a particular moment where rent was due and you just couldn't pay it? And I don't need you to relive that, what I'm sure is a very tough time, but kind of what was the transition like from there to here, and how did it happen?
Well, it happened, I know it happened every month, you gotta pay rent.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. So at the second time, it was time to go.
So how long have you been on the corner?
Month.
1 month?
Yeah.
So we're talking to folks, Maurice, you and I are both San Franciscans, and we're talking to folks in our community, in our city, who are living in tents on the sidewalk. And and I appreciate the honesty with this. I know it's hard to sometimes have these conversations, but you are living in a tent on the sidewalk right behind us. And I wanted to just ask you about your story and how you got here and how you found yourself living in a tent in San Francisco.
Well, for me, I kind of did always want to like be able to be on my own, but not like this much on my own. I kind of made some mistakes, you know what I mean, a little bit, some calls that I should have made for myself that I didn't, you know what I mean. So that led me to have to be on the street, and then, you know, when you depending on somebody else like general assistance and other policies and procedures and how things go in San Francisco, you have to really, be strictly by their, regiment and however that goes. And sometimes when you don't really have it all, to be able to fit inside those boxes is kind of difficult.
Were you living in an apartment in San Francisco before this?
Yeah, I did. I had my own apartment. I was on in the Mission District, actually.
Oh, what part of the Mission?
Folsom. Folsom, yeah. And I actually liked it. I had my own key, I had my own car, I was going to City College. I kind of had it going okay, but I just didn't do what I guess life needs you to do when life calls on you, and everything kind of went downhill. But I mean, I think that's why I stay in San Francisco, because I think it's always opportunity. Like being homeless in San Francisco, you'll probably never be hungry. It's always somebody giving out some food. It's probably always somebody giving out some clothes. It's always a lot of resources here. That's why I'm not a big political dude. I don't know too much about that world, but I like those ballots when they would say, come vote for this, Measure J or Measure K or something. I don't know, just an example. But those measures actually help, man. They allow us to be able to, go sit in Glide's line so I can get something to eat, or...
So Maurice, can I ask you, how old were you, that picture of you in your apartment on Folsom, with a car and an apartment going to City College? You said you were 32 years old. We're very similar in age. How old were you when that was happening? So how long ago was that?
That was actually about 5 or 6 years ago. I was fresh out of prison. I went to prison young, so I kind of had a couple off steps, from the gate. But for somebody that's not in my situation, like I said, like for me, my situation is I went to jail at 17 years old, right? I came home when I was 28. So, I had a little support from my family, not a lot. I had, for the most I had support. I want to try to
What tell people how I keep changing?
Man, if you're out here in San Francisco, even if you're in any part of the city, another part of the city, another part of the world, and you're looking for a change, I think Water House is a great program. It allows you to get your focus. It allows you to, just sit back and chill for a minute, get away from everything, If you need to get put away for a while, just go on the 19th floor somewhere, somewhere and just spend a couple of days. They got places for like that too,
Yeah.
Where you can just settle down, talk to somebody who really knows about being down in life at that moment in time, and just listen to what they got to say, man. Their classes, their regiment, like their program, how they structure their program. I think they structure their program around a lot of people who has problems in life, like when they're down in life. I say you consider down, because a lot of people see this and say, oh, you're not down at all. But yeah, as though, man, I have no roof, I have no, phone bill, I have nothing like that,
So what's that search for housing like? I mean,
Honestly,
yeah.
I've heard with the COVID situation that, they're handing motels out, actually come up to me and been like, hey, and I don't know if this may be laziness on my girlfriend and I's part to not go down to, Glide. But our thing is we don't like talking to people. So to go to Glide and talk to all these people in a crowded space,
Yeah.
we don't really.
You're saying that you and your girlfriend like to be inside. You don't like to be around a lot of people.
Yeah. As for like situations like that.
Part of the reason that I thought it would be good to do this is I feel like so many folks are talking about what they want to happen to the tents, and I feel like there's like a spectrum between folks who are trying to be very empathetic and are like, we want to give these people everything they need and they have nowhere else to go, so don't bother them. And then there's people who are like, get those tents away from me, it's a nuisance, it's on my street, it's on my block. What do you does any of that reach you? Like the conversation about the tents?
Yeah.
Is that reaching you in your ears? And I guess, how does all that conversation swirling around the tents make you feel?
It kind of honestly, there are so many mixed emotions because first off, sidewalk, the city owns the sidewalk. The city owns these streets. And as much I can feel for I'm not from San Francisco, but I can tell people that have lived here their whole life, they're fucking about the city, dude. And it's a beautiful city. But you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me how to feel. So I'm sorry, but yeah, the people that are not cleaning up after themselves and the people that are fucking scummy and dirty, you know what? I'm sorry, but I really try not to be that person. But you can't put your emotions out on me like that. I don't think it's cool at all because I'm just trying to be. I'm just trying to hang out with my girlfriend and my dog and just chill and be comfortable. And I actually have had somebody, I don't know what he looks like. I had somebody come and I had this little plastic pole that I don't know why my girlfriend had it, but he took it and he smacked the side of my tent.
It was a pole, you said?
Yeah, it was like a little plastic pole and he smashed the side of my tent.
Was this like during the day or at night?
Yeah, just randomly during the day.
Just came and attacked your tent?
Yeah, and my girlfriend is my bodyguard. I have a very loud mouth. My girlfriend is whoever actually were to ever unfortunately have my big mouth come back at me, they'd have to deal with her. And it's she's I don't know, I love this girl so much. But she happened to not be there, so I went into full freak out. And it's what did I do?
Right.
Then my mind is well, did I clean up enough trash around my tent today? Did I do anything, what did I do wrong?
Certainly attacking someone in a tent with a pole is the wrong thing to do. But when we talk about solutions, first of all, do you think it's a problem that people are living in tents on the sidewalk? And if you do, then what do you think the solution should be? What do you think, if there was a path to solving the problem, what would that path look like?
I don't really think it's a problem. My girlfriend reminds me all the time that sometimes there's just people that, they like it. They like not having the box. They like not having, this is their form of freedom. Which,
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But
1 second. Now? Okay. You were saying that's their form of, what did you say?
Their freedom. They like being able to do whatever they want and be comfortable wherever they are. Me personally, if somebody were to possibly come up with me with an offer for either housing in an SRO or a motel room, I probably would take it right now, just because I feel like I'm constantly cleaning up a tweaker disaster or something. And it just gets overwhelming. I'm from the East Coast, but we're not allowed to do this shit, so we're not allowed to put up tents on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But that's where most people on the East Coast, they stay in abandos.
What would happen if where would they stay?
They stay in abandonment, abandoned houses and abandoned...
but there just aren't a lot of those around here.
No. And the laws make it that you're allowed to do this.
So has anyone offered you a motel or a hotel room or anything like that?
Not yet, no.
No. But if they did, you would take it?
I probably would take it, yeah.
So you came here during the COVID pandemic. So what has it been like to live in a tent in San Francisco right now in the middle of this pandemic?
Well, really, it's a good thing. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. It's okay. It's okay because you're safe. You don't have no diseases that's coming your way. But by you living in a tent, it's more freedom.
It's more freedom than what you mean? What do you mean?
Like it's more freedom, but it's not. It's less responsibility.
There's less people around. Is that what you mean?
Okay.
Do you know of a lot of folks who are also living in tents in the TL having gotten sick from this virus? Is it spreading around to your knowledge?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't known anybody get the virus living in a tent though. I haven't seen one person.
Let me ask you, what are you most worried about, Lamont? What worries you the most in your current predicament, your current situation?
The virus.
I know that.
That virus. That virus. That's what worries me the most out of everything. Man, and everything, really, that's what worries the most. It's the virus. But now, if I stay healthy, I'm all right.
You know, a lot of people are talking about folks who are living in tents, but I feel like not a lot of San Franciscans oftentimes actually have conversations and sit down with the people in our community that are living on the streets in tents. People are talking about solutions, you know, things to do about the folks in tents.
I know a solution. If people in tents talk to people that's walking by, you know what I'm saying? To get to know your neighbors. And then people in Frisco don't know that people live in tents. Just sit down and talk to them. They're not bad person. They might have made bad. They may have made bad choices in life, but they're not bad people.
I mean, you seem like an amazing person, and you seem like a great guy.
I'm not a bad person either. I just made bad choices in my life, but I'm trying to correct them. I'm trying to correct my choices now, and if the mayor is listening, just come by the mayor and talk to me. I'll tell you anything about people in tents.
Do you mind repeating that one more time, just so we can get that message loud and clear?
If the mayor sees this, she come by and talk to me, I'll talk.
What would you say to the mayor if she came by and talked to you?
I'll tell about the people living in tents. What's wrong with we're not bad people. We just made bad choices in life. And I tell them, well, we live in tents. Well, I don't know.
So what do you think the solution should be? Or what do you think the roadmap to getting people like yourself, Lamont, out of a tent and into housing should be? What does that road look like? And do you think it's the city's responsibility to help you with that and to get you there?
Yes, it is. And that to me, I will, instead of put people in their rooms, give them apartments.
Say that again. Instead of putting them in rooms?
Instead of putting them in rooms, just go ahead and give them apartments and let them pay their rent. Because we can't pay our rent. Instead of giving them shelter, not give them shelter, but just don't. Yeah, y'all get the wrong people with shelter. Y'all don't want shelter. They don't want it.
So you're saying the hotel room thing is not the best solution?
No, it's not, but it's a good solution, but not the best solution. If you ask me, just give them a room. Just give them a room. Not a room, but a shelter. A hotel room is cool. It's nice, but something else.
So considering everything that you've gone through already in your life, Maurice, would you say that right now you feel like you're in a down moment or no?
Of course, I have to say that, just based on where my generation is, you know. My average black African-American man has his own house, you know, has his wife, you know. Even if he's homeless, he still has homes to go to. You know, he has places, you know, he has things to do, you know, normal people. So I would have to say, yeah, I'm down a lot.
How long have you lived in this tent?
I've been here maybe about 45 days.
45 or 25? Sorry, these.
45 days, almost 2 months. Just waiting to get back on GA and, you know, hopefully I can get back in the homeless shelter. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to get into a homeless shelter due to the COVID-19 thing. That's kind of messing up a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, I haven't got my stimulus, haven't got none of that stuff. So you just take it from a person who hasn't had any handouts. I mean, that was living off like I think it's $55 a month from GA. $198 food stamps. You know, it's kind of difficult, you know. But what I can say is, for me, I make it work. GA, they give us $198. But if you're homeless like me, per se, that means a lot for me to be able to walk in Burger King, man, and order me a $3 value meal. They have value meals right now, you know?
You were gonna show me. You were gonna explain to me the Burger King menu because I told you I hadn't eaten any because I keep kosher. But I'm gonna take you up on that. Oh really? Oh, okay. Sorry. You seem like you have a lot of strength, Maurice. You seem like you have a lot of inner strength. Where does that come from?
First and foremost, God, you know, my Lord Jesus Christ, you know, that's my Lord and Savior. You know, He's in my heart. Just the people, you know, I consider God's people, good people like yourself, you know, good people like people who don't mind coming down here and listening to somebody and getting their story because it could help somebody. You know, I figured that it was a lot of people that did try to help, but certain times in my life where I should have went and got that help, I didn't. It had a lot to do with a lot of fear on my part. It had to do with a lot of, just fear, I would say.
Okay, so let's talk about the future. Okay, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about like because you and I are both young, right? Like we have a whole life ahead of us, and a lot of people are talking up right now in the city. They're talking about people living in the tents, what to do about them, how to solve that problem. You know, people are calling into supervisors' offices and complaining about the tent situation, and I was just like, I wanted to actually talk to living in these tents and actually hear their story, but also hear from them, like, what are your ideas for how the city can be in your path? So how do you, what responsibility do you think San Francisco has to you? And how do you think San Francisco could help you change the situation that you're in right now?
I think just to continuously, San Francisco does offer a lot of help. Yes, the system is slow. I think that's everywhere in America. It is, I think, not a lot of funding and all that, I guess. Like I said, I don't know that part about the political and all that stuff, but I just know that is there a place that I can go to right now that I can go get some soap, a razor, and a comb? Yes. Is there a place right now that I can go and use the bathroom if I had to, do a number two and I didn't want to do it out on the street? Yes. So I think it's just going to have to buckle down to who wants it, who wants to change, who wants to live. Because out here you're going to die for sure, there's no question. There's no question.
What do you mean by that?
Literally, you're going to die. D-I-E, be in coma somewhere with your funeral, die. Mm-hmm. It's too much out here, it's too cold, it's too many sick people, it's too dirty. Being on the street is not a place for human life, man, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometime, and it is what it is, Nobody had it perfect, Nobody had it perfect at all. And it's just about staying focused, man, always staying positive, you know what I mean? Little as it might seem, but that little situation that I just explained to you about being able to get something to eat, that's what drives me every day.
So you said there are some people who like the freedom of staying in the tent and staying out here. Other side of the coin, do you think it's for the people who are living in the community, who are living here, do you feel like that people should be allowed to do that? I mean, do you think it should be because that's the thing.
If they're going to maybe pick up after themselves, yeah. That's where I can understand when people in the houses, when you see a shit ton of cardboard or, people who couldn't even, there needs to be more bathrooms, but people who could not make it to the bathroom. I could tell, that was outside my house, I'd be fucking mad.
I feel like the folks who are very upset about the tents do not like to be confronted with poverty, or don't like to be confronted with people who are not living in homes. and that it probably like makes them, and I'll just be honest, me too, when I pass by a ton of tents, when I see a lot of folks living in tents, I feel bad inside. I feel embarrassed actually that there is this is happening in my city, and I think we live in this, you know, San Francisco has some of the wealthiest people in the world and also some of the poorest, and I think the juxtaposition of folks who can't afford to live in a home next to so much wealth, it makes people really uncomfortable. So that I don't think it's just about what's on the street. I think it's also about what it represents. What do you think?
I think a lot of the time people are drug addict pieces of shit. When honestly, a lot of these people have mental disorders that need to be dealt with, but you can't force somebody to take their medication. A lot of these people have like paranoid schizophrenia, and have multiple things that are going on inside their head, and we don't have anything, we don't know what's going on inside a paranoid schizophrenic's head, unless you actually have paranoid schizophrenia yourself. You know, a lot of these people have post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of these people have something that fucking fucked them up, and now we don't want to be faced with it because we're dealing with what fucked us up in a different way.
What do you think is the city's responsibility to these people?
Honestly,
you, what do you think is San Francisco's responsibility to you?
I think I should be responsible for myself, honestly. I don't think San Francisco should be responsible for anything for me. Maybe my civil rights, like me as a woman, they should be responsible. Like, you know, if I were to get raped in a back alley, the cops actually, you know, help me out and fucking I get that help. But like, that's never happened to me. I don't really personally think that San Francisco should be actually held responsible for anything I do. I don't know.
And at the same time, when we talked about what could help, you said if someone offered you a hotel or a motel room or housing, you would take it. So only really the city is going to provide that, right? I mean,
true.
So what's going to happen? I mean, what is the long term? What's your path? What do you think is if you could imagine like a 1 or 3 year plan for yourself, what would that look like?
Honestly, I live day by day. I don't know. That one's a really scary question. I'm not gonna lie.
I really hope that you and I can sit here again in a year and talk about this.
Me too.
Because in the short amount of time that you and I have talked with each other, I don't know, I feel for you, and I believe in you, and I just feel like I have a lot of feeling for you. Let me just see if I have any more.
I'm with you. I feel like the city should be providing housing for people, but it's hard. I mean, housing is expensive. There's not a lot of space. You know, how do you feel like you and the city can meet in the middle? If the city says, you know, I'm going to give you housing, how can you guys find each other to make sure that, you know, the housing, how do you make that match? And what can you do to also help the city help you?
Well, me personally, if I can have just a shot at it, a shot at housing. I mean.
Say that again?
If I can have a shot at housing, and just give me a shot, give me a chance. Everybody deserves a chance. And I guess, you know what I'm saying, just by getting them a shot.
Yeah, I think there's a conception, and to me it's a misconception, that people who have gotten into the situation that Lamont, you're in right now, that you wouldn't be able to handle an apartment. That if you were given one, it would be lost on you. And what would you say to that?
It wouldn't be lost. It would just be, it would be taken care of though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in 2003 I was shot 7 times, 4 in the chest and 3 in the head, and I was in a coma for a year. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of hard getting back in it, but I got to look at it. I was in a coma for a year. And I think I deserve a chance, like everybody else.
Coma for a year, I can't even imagine what that was like, and also how that might.
How it may feel. I can't, I mean, really, it was rough.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
You're here. I'm so glad you're here, Lamont. You and I are both San Franciscans, and I'm really. But you're in San Francisco now, so now we're San Franciscans together. The last question is like, what do you want to say? What I feel like, what would you like to say? What would you like to get off your chest? What do you want people to know about you and your experience in your life?
Well, me personally, I just want to know, let people know I'm not a bad person. Just give me a chance in life. Just give me a shot. And I don't know. It's just that
Where do you want to be in 1 year, Lamont?
1 year I want to be in my house, own house, looking at you on TV.
All right, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. I really appreciate it. And like I said, my name is Manny, and I hope you can come to my coffee shop called Manny's on Valencia and 16th. It's a little far from here, and I know you said you can't walk, but if you're able to get a bus or something, I'd love to see you and take care of you and give you some, and have dinner with you at my shop. All right, thank you, Lamont. We're in front of this really amazing mural right here in the Windsor Hotel. Do you know the story about this mural, Maurice?
I don't know the story about the mural, but it's a nice one. I like it. I think it's kind of 3D-ish. It has a nice saying at the bottom, everyone deserves their home. I think in San Francisco that is a correct statement by the people, for the people type of thing.
Okay, so it says everyone deserves a home, which brings us to this conversation right here. What does that mean to you, everyone deserves a home? Like, when you read that and you look at that, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like there's hope. Like, when I see that and I get to looking at it, first, it's kind of trivial though. It makes me want to try to figure something out. You know, like, oh, what are they talking about? What is it that I'm missing, you know? And then try to equate it to what I'm doing if I can find something in there. You know, like like those 3 houses right there, right? I guess you guys will see it. I think that's the Full House houses, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does kind of look like the Full House houses, and then there's some tree houses too.
Yeah. So, I don't know, it's kind of like, you know, like even in San Francisco, like even the people at the top, right? Even though they swing is for like a swing, I take that as like somebody at the bottom being able to get helped up to the top. You know what I mean? Even though the reason behind it is maybe different, it's for their enjoyment, but their enjoyment is still helpful to someone else.
In a year from now, how do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to be, and what do you want to be doing in a year from now? If you and I were to sit down in the same beautiful park, you know, how can we manifest that, and what do you want it to look like?
Let's turn the camera, man, and see what life in San Francisco really supposed to look like.
We've got some water balloons,
You know, you got,
a happy family.
you know what I mean? You got the husband, you got his wife, you know what I mean, with their kids, you know. That's real life in the city right there, you know. That's what it's all about. You know, hopefully, man, that's blessed there, you know. You can support your wife and your kids and be able to bring them to the park with a bag full of water balloons, you know. It don't get no better than that, yo. That's real life, man. It might seem small, but for a lot of people who, you know what I mean, don't got that.
Well, I wish that for you, Maurice. I really do, and I believe in it for you. I can tell you have a very strong sense of self, and it's only been 25 days, and I really believe that you can bounce back. 45 days? Okay, it's been 45 days, and I do believe you can bounce back. And that site right there, that husband and wife, I don't know what their situation is, but and their kids and those water balloons, I 100% believe that will be your future, and I'm looking forward to being there with you, okay?
For sure, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's just complicated. This is a really complex but important issue, and I think what sometimes gets lost in these conversations is the humanity of the people that we're talking about. Everyone has their own individual story, their own perspective, and just like other communities, you can't talk about everyone as a whole. You know, people in a community each are individuals, and so I'm really glad that I was able to actually sit down and speak with some folks, including Tyler, about the experience of living in a tent in San Francisco. And if you want to continue the conversation and join us in a community conversation, join the break room. It's tinyurl.com/Manny's break room. That's tinyurl.com/Manny's break room. It'll be under here. And we're gonna talk about Tyler's story. We're gonna talk about solutions and whether or not even there are solutions or should be solutions and what they should be. Slave sleeping sites, homelessness, and tent encampment. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the break room. tinyurl.com/Manny's break room.